Good evening, Costa Mesa residents. I'm Sam Stradell for Costa Mesa Brief. We're here this evening at the Neighborhood Community Center checking in on the candidates for this upcoming election. We're touching on some issues this evening. Let's take a sneak peek and see what they have to say. This evening?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, I've worked for a number of elected officials before. I've never done this myself, so it's interesting. But I'm really excited. You know, Costa Mesa politics can get a little testy, but I think we're going to be able to bring a fresh perspective to the scene.
So do you feel confident right now with gaining some momentum with everything?
I think that the track record that we have in the city is a very good track record. I think we've done a lot of great things in the city. From a political standpoint, I always run scared. You don't know how people are going to be, but my come from pretty much is I think what we've done, the community wants, and if they want us to continue, I'll be elected again, and if they don't want us to continue, I won't be. But I think they want us to continue what we're doing. The amount of improvements in the city, it's like a renaissance happening here.
Is there a specific issue that you're looking to clarify specifically this evening?
There's a lot of different issues. Unfortunately, when you ask that question, you open yourself to a huge answer. The most important one, I think, is returning this city back to the people that are communicated with, that people that participate in a collaborative format as opposed to in a confrontational format.
I'm excited about it. I'm going to have fun here, one way or the other.
You're gonna
I just hope I don't get tripped up on questions I can't answer. You have experienced politicians up here, and who have been in office for a long time in the past or in the present, and they have a slight advantage over people who've never been in office and don't know everything that's going on.
So, are you saying that you feel a little intimidated?
Yeah, but no more so than I ran 2 years ago, and I had a good time then. I'm going to have a good time now, and I hope to get my message across. And whether I win or not, I hope that people will listen and make some changes in certain areas that are needed. You don't have to win. It's nice to win.
Oh, it's nice to win.
Oh, yeah. But you can still waken them up to different ideas and different approaches, and you can have some influence more than if you weren't involved in the scene.
I think I would have liked to have been up on the panel to ask questions, but I think that it might have been mostly self-aggrandizing because it would have caused votes to be divided even further. And my feeling is that there are a lot of issues to be addressed in this city, and my hope is that I can stay active in the city and help address them as I continue to be a resident here for another 30 years.
Do you feel that some of your questions were answered in tonight's debate?
I think that a lot of candidates answered questions. Whether I felt those questions might have been answered satisfactorily is a separate issue.
I think we saw some people stumble with some of the questions, and I think we saw some of the people that took the questions and made an opportunity to shine for themselves. And so I think that was terrific.
So has your opinions changed a little bit on some of the candidates?
I'm considering a couple of people a little more than I was before.
First off, who do you think won the debate tonight?
Well, I thought that the comments were good by all of the, not to sidestep your question, but I thought that actually Rita Simpson, who just joined the number of candidates and who is trying to catch up, I thought she did a great job because she's one of our neighbors, and she was really far behind, but I thought she did a great job tonight. And I thought, well, I thought some of the questions were not strong enough for, I'm on the Pension Oversight Committee, and I wish there were more questions about the pension problem the city really has, because it's not been felt yet. Most people don't realize the significance of the unfunded liability of $228 million. It amounts to about, CalPERS is now starting to sending the bill to the city, and it's going to be about $19 million a year on average over the next 30 years to pay this off. And the real solution really is that during the period year 2000 through 2010, there was a significant, just major increases in the employee pensions, and that's what caused the unfunded liability. And probably the only way that's going to get paid off is for the unions to actually support a reduction in their formula going forward, to actually roll back.
Did you get any questions answered tonight?
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest questions was about Fairview Park, and I think that kind of across the board, the feeling was that there shouldn't be anything done with Fairview Park, any development. And I know there's really a strong desire for lighted fields, and there should be, because we have kids out there that want to have places to play sports, and they should have it. I think the city, maybe once it gets past this major unfunded liability problem, which is probably going to take quite a while, they should really look for land that they could buy and increase the number of lighted fields.
I think it came up really well. There are a lot of candidates. They all had pretty well thought out answers. The questions were great. I'm really glad we had as much time as we did for questions from the audience, because I think that's one of the most important and telling things. When the Board of Mesa Verde Inc. tried to come up with questions, we tried to think of the most broad-based, most reflective of the things we've read in the news, that we've heard being discussed, and wanted to, make the questions neutral, and then just, we hoped, put them out there, hope that they'd resonate, hope they'd get good answers. I think that's what happened.
Why did we go neutral questions rather than a little bit more in-depth and specific?
This is the first candidates forum of the season, and I think it's kind of like an overview. Some of the coming up ones may get more specific, and then some of the questions from the audience were more specific.
Who do you think won tonight?
I don't know if anybody won. I think the community wins by having a great debate among all the candidates and trying to bring all the issues forward.
Do you think we could have gone a little bit more specific in the questions, or was it a little too early on in the introductory season, I guess?
Specific questions are tough because you get down into the weeds and the nitty-gritty. The really important issues for the citizens are the policy issues. How are we going to manage the city? What are the policy issues that these folks are going to advocate for?
Did you have any specific candidate that may have turned you on more so than they had in the past?
I think everybody was really a well-spoken candidate, but I think Mayor Righeimer really hit it out of the park.
I'm supporting Humphrey and Katrina Foley. I think that they've got the experience, having been on the city council before. They can hit the ground running. I think everybody's answers were good. They represent a real good cross-section of Costa Mesa and who we are as a community. And so a little bit here, a little bit, that's what we should be doing on the city council, is listening and coming up with the best answers to some of the problems we have.
Who won the debate tonight?
I think Righeimer definitely. Mayor Righeimer definitely won the debate.
Why do you think that, even though he spoke out of turn?
I think it's because he's assertive, and he made sure that the record was correct, and he made sure that some people aren't trying to paint the issues in this campaign incorrectly. There's a lot of nonsense right now about high density. People have made it a point that they're going to make this election about development, when in fact this council is finally implementing the plans that were put in place back in 2006, which have sat on the shelf due to inaction, inactivity, and economics. So also he set the record straight about police department. We've got a lot of talk in the city about staffing levels, and a lot of talk in the city about the fact that public safety isn't being addressed and the police are not on the streets. In fact, staffing is at full level for patrol. And also, and more importantly, this council is going everything they can do to recruit more police officers. There is nothing that any other council member could do better than what this council is doing. They've got the highest, one of the highest, if not the highest paid salaries in the county for police, and their recruiting efforts are unprecedented. So there's nothing else that anybody can do except for hire more police.
Do you think that will continue with 2 new members on the board after the elections?
I don't think so. I think that unless we have people who have the same mindset as Jim Righeimer and Steve Messenger and Gary Monahan as far as controlling costs and making sure that we can pay our bills and pay our issues and keep the pension costs down and continue doing the infrastructure improvements we need to do, we're going to go backwards. We're going to slide backwards. And if we get retreads, I hate to use that word because I respect Katrina Foley and I respect Jay Humphreys for their service to the city, but their decisions and their actions in the past, especially Katrina Foley's, were dramatically injurious and caused some of the problems we have with the pension issues and the pay issues. So I think we need to move forward. I know that's a catchphrase right now, but I really do think we can continue to move ahead and not go back.
In moving forward, do you think you got some questions clarified that you may have been a little muddy about?
Not really. I mean, it was nice to meet Rita. You know, I hadn't met her before, but you know, we know what Chris Bunyan's issues are, and I respect his opinions, and I respect his attitudes and his ability to stay on message. We know exactly what Katrina Foley is all about, and we know what Jay Humphrey is, his message is. I had many discussions with him after planning commission meetings. I didn't know much about Tony Capitelli. I followed his campaign, so it's nice to hear some of his focus. I'm a little concerned that his focus, his number one issue in Costa Mesa is homelessness. I think we have much bigger fish to fry than that. I think that homelessness is a county-wide problem, a statewide problem, but we also have a local focus here that we can work on. But just building transitional or assistive housing is not going to solve our problem. It will help a little bit. So, yeah, I think mostly I learned a little bit about Miss Simpson and maybe a little bit about Tony.
I just wanted to ask how you think you did this evening.
You know, I think all the candidates did well. I think we all care about our community and we want to serve our community in the best of our ability, and I'm here to serve.
Now, you touched on keeping a balance between business and residential communities in Costa Mesa. What do you think would be the necessary steps to keep that balance? What would your efforts be? What direction would you go?
Well, I would start with we're currently looking at amending the general plan. And some of the proposals for the amendment of the general plan, for example, on Newport Boulevard, are looking at increasing apartments there with 4-story apartment buildings on Newport Boulevard. I don't know that that's the best way to keep Costa Mesa quaint, coastal area community. That's that hometown feel that we love. I would instead want to upgrade the hotels there and make them like family resorts. You wouldn't increase traffic, you'd provide an amenity, you'd attract tourists that wouldn't have a negative impact on our community, and you'd enhance the whole east side by doing that.
Do you feel like anyone is a serious threat to you?
No, I'm running for the open seat.
Thank you so much for your time. You touched on taking steps towards unity this evening. What do you think those steps are?
Steps would be listening and communication. You know, there's a difference between listening and hearing. You need to listen to your stakeholders that are within the city, and that means everybody. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience and a lot of strength to do that with others. Hanging out with my girlfriend, I've become a better listener with her. And so I'm employing some of those strategies in terms of politics. But that's how you preach unity. It's not about one particular group, whether it's a supermajority or the minority. It's bringing everybody in. From a political standpoint, it's only going to make your career better.
How do you think you did this evening?
I would give myself a C+.
Why a C+?
There's always room for improvement, right? This is my 3rd time running, and I think any potential challenger is a threat to your campaign, no matter if you think they have more resources or not. But there were some strong points that all the candidates mentioned tonight. There wasn't one candidate that I thought it was weak in any one area. I'm like, everyone's bringing something to the table.